All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Dorothy. Thanks for joining me today. I am a professional astrologer. You can find me right here, nhastrologer.com. Today, we're going to talk about the rest of March, which includes the full moon in Libra coming up on the 28th. And I'm going to talk about Venus, Sun. They're beginning their new cycle this coming week. Mercury is going to be whizzing his way through Aries pretty soon, and a few other aspects. So stay with me. We're going to talk about all of those things in just a minute. So I'm going to start by sharing, right? Let's see if I can find the way to share my screen. Excellent. I got it to happen. So here we are. Thank you for joining me today. So I know spring has been like a whirlwind of activities. I know my life has been like somebody pulled the ripcord on a lawnmower and just let it go, going like crazy. So much activity on the planet. A lot of good energies for a lot of people to focus on. No matter what's going on in your world, we can focus on that. But there's also undeniably been some very difficult things that are going on. So I do hope and pray that, whatever's going on in your world, that the energies are easy and comforting. And if you're in distress and having a hard time dealing with things, I do pray that that you find comfort and healing through the pain that you're experiencing, because it's definitely a lot of each going on right now in the world. Last week when the sun did enter the sign of Aries, here's that chart right now. When the sun entered the sign of Aries, there was still a ton of planets in water energy and some air energy going on. So we really didn't have, we could have easily, started to take action. We can always take action whenever we really feel like it. But the astrology was like, it's almost a false start just for a little while. And that, is what was going on there. But let me grab the next chart that I can pull up here, which would be just a little while later. Make sure I'm sharing the right chart here. I think I am. All right, good. I'll just keep checking. So on the 21st, Sunday the 21st, I know this is beyond that. We're looking back really quickly. Venus did shift into the sign of Aries on the 21st, on Sunday the 21st. And that was, early in the morning, 10:16 here on the East Coast of the US. But we also had on that day Mars and Saturn joining up in a trine aspect late in the day. So what does all that mean? First off, with Venus and Aries, a lot of action. We're ready to take that step towards what it is that we value. You can see it in the chart right here. We have a few things in Aries now. Chiron is there as well. And so, but with Mars and Saturn coming to make their trine aspect, here is what this chart shows up. What that is, and they're going to be that way for a while. Mars will be in Gemini for a few more weeks, and Saturn will be in Aquarius for quite a few more months / years, actually. And so this helps us to put into action lots of different thoughts and ideas, and how we can use social media for our, to better us, or for what it is that we want to use it for, and how we can use it in a little bit different ways. So while these energies were in their exact connection on the 21st, we still have plenty of this energy playing out all over the place, because slowly, and I'll tell you about it when the time comes, slowly Mars will come and make its connection to Jupiter, like it is now connecting to Saturn. So we have a lot of these things going on, and it's all pretty awesome. Here's the chart for, make sure I'm still sharing. Yes, I am. Here's the chart for Venus in Aries. Almost. We're off by like a couple of seconds. That's what it looked like. Next share. We'll get to the next chart. I love you guys to see these charts. So what we have going on next is the conjunction of Venus and the Sun. Now, this happens on March 26th. Let me give you the exact time if it's interesting for you. March 26th, East Coast time, 2:58 a.m. If you're on the Pacific Coast time, it will be on the 25th at 11:58 p.m., just before midnight if you're on the West Coast of the United States. Now, what does this mean? Now, Venus moves in front of the Sun. if Venus was the size of the moon, which she can't be, but from our perspective here on Earth, if she was the size of the moon, it would be an eclipse. Now, media doesn't pick up on that because we can't see it, so they don't sensationalize it. The point is, this is an important beginning of a new cycle. Venus has a 9-month cycle. And for those of you who follow me, especially in my Patreon membership page, we know that the lunar gestation phase is also 9 months from new moon first quarter to full moon to third quarter, and then third quarter back to new moon. So 9-month cycles are really important. That's our gestation as humans for most of us, unless you're a preemie, but generally speaking. So it's significant. So we want to focus on it, even though news and media won't pick up on that. So this cycle that begins on, whoops, I lost the date. Hold on a second. On the 26th is very important in the sign of Aries, because we want to know, we want to ask ourselves a few questions. And again, this stuff's written out on my website right here. And if you get on my newsletter, I'll email it to you. I put one out about every 10 days nowadays. So the last Venus cycle began June 3rd in 2020, and it was in the sign of Gemini. So the values and the importantness of what was going on in the last 9 months until we get to March 26, which is a couple of days from this recording. It's been about really that connection of communication and information. And boy, has that been up and down all year for sure. Now that we have the Venus Sun cycle beginning anew, this time it does it in the sign of Aries. So some of the questions that you want to ask yourself, just to maybe inspire something within you. So here's some things. Am I willing to step out of my comfort zone? Aries doesn't even think about the comfort zone. Aries just goes for it, right? It's just like headlong 2-year-old. I'm just going to go do this. How do you feel in your relationships? Are you too comfortable in a certain relationship? And you need to ask and you need to speak up for something. This is something we can do. Venus also represents our creativity. And in the sign of Aries, it's like, well, let's step that up. Let's find a way to be creative. As long as our physical needs and security is met at that lower level, those lower chakras especially, then if you have that met, then now would be a very inspiring time to begin new things. Because I know when I'm feeling freaked out, like lately when I haven't had a not knowing where I was going to move, it's been hard for me to create. I can't get out of that place of, well, the stability needs to be here. I'm only human, right? I'm like the rest of you. I can read what's going on in the stars, but it still it still shows up in my world too. So I want you to quietly sit with some of these questions, other things about Venus, again, the creativity, but we want to focus on our finances too. We don't want to be too impulsive when it comes to spending money or, buying that super expensive thing. You can certainly go do it, but you might regret it later. So if you sit and you pause on that, just take a pause on these things. Not what Aries wants, but I'm telling you, it might be important for us to do that just a little bit with this beginning of this new cycle. All right, let me get to the next chart. The next chart is the full moon in Libra. So with this full moon in Libra, here it is. It's very early in Libra. It is, look at this. It is connected with Chiron. I don't talk about that very often, but this full moon is with Venus. Venus and the sun are kind of pacing each other right now. Venus is a little faster, but they're going to stay together for a little while. And Chiron is like smack dab in between the two with the full moon in Libra. There's a lot of healing energy with this one, a lot of healing that can go on with this full moon. So when we have full moons during that full moon phase, now we can talk about it in the monthly cycle, which lasts for 45 degrees. So about 2.5 days, maybe 3. When we have that, we're looking at in our world, what's fair, what's balanced, what our current life situations are. Are we recognizing the full moon is like all cards are on the table, everything is illuminated, big, right? So are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling alone? Are you in a partnership and feeling that way? This full moon really brings up those things if that's what is your current life situation. So we want to make sure and pay attention to those things. Pay attention to, again, how you're spending your money because Venus is involved. And are we feeling isolated and out of sync with our partners and things like that? Now, we can use this full moon in that lunar gestation phase. Again, I talk about this in depth in my the Patreon page, tier 3. So here they are. The lunar gestation phase, you don't have to glaze over. It's just a cycle that starts with every new moon and it lasts for 3 years, and it's 9 months at 9-month intervals. So the new moon phase initiates action, right? We're about initiating. So we had a new moon phase back on September 28, 2019, new moon, same area of the astrology chart where the moon is at this full moon, the current full moon. Look back to September 2019. What were you beginning consciously or even unconsciously? That's why journaling during the full moon, journaling during the new moon, especially so important. Journaling how you're feeling, what's going on. It doesn't have to be like, today I did this. It doesn't have to be dry information. I want you every new moon, every single month begins a 3-year phase. Some of them are important to us and some of them are not, but it doesn't hurt to have this down because we don't know. So at the new moon, September 2019, September 28, 2019, what were you beginning? What were you initiating? What was going on in your world that you can see reflected right now? And this March 28th full moon. The first quarter relating to that, let me find the date, would be June 28th, 2020. So what was going on then? That was at the same area, right around 5 to 8 degrees of Libra. That first quarter shows more light. What we began September 2019, by the time we get to June 2020, it was growing, it was building. We had some things. I know June, this last summer, 2020, was just like such a lockdown. We were still in a lot of lockdown, but you can still see what you were planting, what you were growing, what you were investing in. These are important things to look at because by the time we do get to today, this full moon, March 28th, is that opportunity for us to really say, wow, look at what I've accomplished. Look at what I've done. Look at what I've grown. Look at where I'm at. So this is just another reason why I recommend every new moon you write down thoughts, ideas, whatever's going through your life. You can write down goals too. Sometimes we're not sure what we're manifesting when we're or intending when we get to those new moons. So do that for yourself and find a way that you can, really take good care of this full moon and really see what it is that we've created now. It's taken 18 months to get here. What did I create in my relationships and my partnerships and all of those types of things? So really be good with yourself. Let me hit the next chart. So here we are, the next chart. Mercury conjunct Neptune. Now that happens on the 29th as well, Monday night. They're in Pisces. What do you want to do? Dream. Dream all the dreams that you want to dream. This Mercury, Neptune only happens once a year in Pisces. Neptune's been in Pisces for quite a few years, will remain there for quite a few years. We just get it's a wonderful opportunity. It's near midnight here on the East Coast on I'm looking at the date, the 29th. So it gives us that opportunity to, go to bed, set intentions, what you want to dream about. Close your eyes, imagine, you know, read poetry, or if you are a writer, this is, even though it's late in the evening, this is a great opportunity to let those words flow so you're able to speak your truth. Find a way to do that because this is just really fantastic. Meditate, yoga, relax, dream, even take a nap. It is nighttime. I'll be sleeping then. It won't be considered a nap, but pay attention to your dreams, especially when you wake up in the next morning. Now, I also want to talk about, I'm going to finalize this on Saturday, April 3rd. Mercury finishes his dreamy path through the sign of Pisces, that we're unclear about what no clear messages, or if they're clear, it's just these psychic and these intuitive hits. So he gets into the sign of Aries. When Mercury moves into Aries, let me look at the exact date of that. Mercury moves into Aries Saturday, April 3rd, and that is like really late at night, 11:41 p.m. as well, East Coast time. Mercury in Aries, he is cruising. He is moving very fast. He's barely spending 15 days in the sign, which means fast. Boom. That's a short period. Usually it's around 3 weeks. When he's retrograde, he spends 7 weeks in a sign. That's all approximate. So again, here, if you've been using the Pisces energy over the last few weeks, then you have thoughts and ideas all kind of mishmashed on paper with pretty flowers and all kinds of drawings in the sidelines, right? So now you can take this Mercury in Aries and really go for it, really explore and really be who you are, and really take these writing projects, if you will, and get them going, really initiate a lot. Because when he does get in there, we are in the third quarter of the lunar phase. So that means that, we can be distilling a lot of information. We will get to the new moon on April 11th at 21 Aries. I'm going to talk about that in the next forecast. But in the meantime, take this Mercury in the sign of Aries and really go with it, and really, dig deep into, these new activities and these new ways of just taking all the things you've been working on and creating and dreaming about, and get them out on paper. Like, at least do an outline, just those short descriptions and outlines. That's Aries. Aries doesn't want anything too in depth yet. That will come later with other transits. All right. I'm going to leave everybody. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. I know I'm not here very often, so just you can find me on Patreon right here. Well, on my website. That's where I am a lot. I do 6 live recordings. You could actually join me if you come and join us there. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. Blessings. And thank you everybody who commented and helped me, send all the good juju to find the right place. And I did. And I get to move on April 3rd. I'm so excited. Get back to a more normal situation. It's only been a few weeks, but I had Taurus rising. I don't like doing things that fast. Gemini, Taurus rising. It's like, oh, hurry up and wait. Oh no. Anyways, that's it for now. Have a good one. Bye.